Hello, Donna. Hello, Susan. Hello, Stevie. Hello, Carol. It's yoga time. All right. Um, so I'm not at home, obviously, right? Here I am. Here's my space. I'm at a big conference, a business conference. I'm really excited. It starts today. It's in Phoenix. I drove here yesterday. Let me see. Want to make sure you guys can see. I drove here 6 hours yesterday. And it seems like every time I'm gone, I'm near a wall, which honestly I love. So I'm going to practice near a wall today. And if you could, I know that glare is there. Let me see if I could do it this way. Maybe that's better. All right, perfect. That's better. Okay. So good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Lynn. So I'm in Phoenix. And yeah, so I am going to practice near a wall. I really recommend it. And I think one time I suggested where you do this near a chair or a sofa. And what happens is there's three components of yoga for osteoporosis. There's the strength component, there's the flexibility component, and there's a balance component. And when you can take away the balance challenge, then you can actually do a little bit more focus on the strength. And that's what I find happens when we're near the wall. Certain postures that have a lot of balance aspects to them. If you're so worried about the balance, then you can't really give it your all for the strength. So if you could set yourself up today, if it's possible for you to be at the back of a chair, the back of a sofa, or near a wall, I would really love for you to do that because there's some really great stuff we can do with the wall and the chair. All right. So any questions or anything? My balance challenge, I am having so much fun. I'm posting every day, which I've never done before. So today is day 6. And I drove yesterday 6 hours to get here, 6.5 with stopping. And oh my goodness. Right when I got here, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the balance challenge. I need to do it. So I sat my phone up, pushed play or pushed go for my timer, and I challenged myself. I'm doing a tree posture. And I thought, wow, I normally would never do that. When would I be doing tree at 7:30 at night and timing myself? So it is a really amazing thing. I really do think this is going to be the thing for me is challenges and doing group. I want to do big group things around healthy aging and strong bones. And so, in addition to teaching classes, I really want to do this much larger group concept because I really think I love being with other women and I love being in groups and I love the camaraderie and I love helping each other or learning from each other. And so that is what's happening. If you're not in it, please join. I saw that you joined yesterday, Lynn, and I want to see you posting and I want to know what you're choosing. Yes, and Susan is in there and it's awesome. And I love to interact with Susan every day and others. And then someone shared something that was really amazing. She talked about she does her challenge with this mudra, this hand position. These are called mudras when we do things like this. And actually, we know now that there are so many neurons in the sensory cortical brain that are dedicated to fingers and hands. So when we actually do things with our fingers, we're stimulating our brain. Let's call it brain yoga. Let's call it preventative cognitive decline. Let's call it good for bones, good for healthy aging. So anyway, we learn from each other. And that's, I think, what I want to. I think that I want to be learning from you all. And I want to give you the opportunity that this is not just Debbie talking, but that we're teaching each other. I'm so into that whole red tent communal living aspect. I think it's really powerful for us as humans. Oh, you guys did, maybe you guys ran into each other, Donna. Or maybe you meant in here. But yeah, I'm going to be around people today. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be around people that I've met over these past 2 years that I almost see weekly sometimes, and I've never been in the flesh with them. So being is going to be exposed to other people energetically. Super interesting because it really hasn't happened for a long time. So, right. Is there anything that anyone wants to ask or say? You could now. And then if not, I'm going to go back there and start. All right. Super excited. Super excited to strengthen my bones, to be here. All right. Don't know if I love the lighting, but we'll make it work, right? Let's do this. Let me just put this under so do that. Okay. So here we go. All right. Today's practice, not done in my normal environment. And the good thing about me practicing when I'm not in my normal environment is to show you that yoga can be done everywhere and anywhere. And so that is the goal, is that we focus on showing up for ourselves every day, because that's what's really important. For today's practice, the props that we usually use are the block, the blanket, and the strap. Grab those if you have those. Also today I'm going to use the wall. I love using a wall. It's one of my favorite props to use. It could be the back of a chair for you. It could be a sofa, whatever it is. So go ahead and grab your wall, grab your chair if you would like, and then grab the regular props, and let's get to it. So let's set this intention. Let's set this time for the practice. So wherever you are, come into a closed-eyed position, letting the moments before this moment be over, because they are never to repeat, gone forever. And the moments to come after this are not real, haven't happened. This is what we have, the reality, this present moment. Let's immerse ourselves fully in this present moment so that we could be here, mind, body, and soul, so that we can use stress as our friend to create appropriate bone building stimulation and to keep ourselves safe, because we'll be so in tune with what we're doing that will allow our body to be the guide that says, yes, that's appropriate, or that's enough. Close your mouth, begin to breathe in and out through your nose. If you're in a seated position, you could be with legs bent or in a crisscross leg position. And then take one palm inside the other. So let one palm be up, let the other palm be inside the other. And then bring your thumbs together. It's creating a circle. This is an energetic circle, an energetic flow. Bringing the thumbs to touch, one palm inside the other. And if you travel around Asia and you see Buddha statues, you'll quite often see Buddha in this position. One hand inside the other, thumbs touching, creating this circular pattern, this never-ending flow of the current of energy. Mouth is closed. Breathe in and out through your nose. Begin to arrive. Notice your body, your mind, and how are you feeling at this moment? Content, happy, fatigued, energetic. And then bring your hands together. Rub your hands together. Cover your eyes. Allow your eyes to blink themselves open. This morning I was reading an article by Dr. Mark Hyman, and it was about a research on posture and how studies are showing that poor posture results in a poorer quality of life. So let's begin the practice today supporting our posture, supporting a back bend, because we are always in a forward bend throughout our day. Mostly everything we do is forward. So I like to take the opportunity most of the time when I begin my practice to support a back bend. Take your blanket, and this is also something that if you don't have any fancy props, most of us have access to blankets or towels. So take your blanket and roll your blanket up. The tighter you roll it, the more intense the opening will be. And this is going to go behind your spine. So you're going to come down onto it, keeping the front of your spine open, bringing yourself down onto the floor. And then bring your arms into wherever you need. Close your eyes, find your way into your posture. Let your arms be to the side. Find somewhere to be so that you feel a stretch. You feel it in your arms, your chest, somewhere. We're all different. We all have different experiences, different issues. The arms could be straight out to the side or up or overhead. Find something for you where you feel an appropriate stretch. Knees could be bent or you could come into straight legs. Close your mouth, breathe in and out through your nose. Bring your awareness to your torso, and as you breathe, let the breath stretch your ribs, stretch your lungs, stretch yourself to the side, stretch yourself back. Breathe deeply so you feel an extra stretch on the inhale. Using the breath intentionally to stretch your lungs, your ribs, your spine, your chest, your shoulders. Bring your awareness to your lower ribs. Let your breath go down, lower ribs to the belly, to the legs, to the feet. And then bring your awareness to your head and your neck. Let's warm up the head and neck slowly side to side, letting your head roll side to side. With a rolled up blanket, you're going to get a little bit of a deeper stretch in your neck. So make sure your eyes are closed and your awareness is in your neck. Especially if you're someone with issues. You want to make sure you're not throwing your bag of bones around. Don't just let your head flop. Let there be awareness. Be in your neck. Go side to side to the appropriate range of motion for you. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your hands and your feet, move your hands and your feet, come into a fully stretched position wherever you can to feel a stretch in your tissues. Stretch your skin, stretch your muscles, stretch the connective tissue of your body. Start to create space so that as you move, you keep yourself nice and safe. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself into a bent knee position. Come all the way off the blanket onto your side. Take your hand on the floor. Make sure that you're using your hand and your elbow. You're pushing away from the floor with your upper body, not pulling up from the floor with your back. Push away, bring yourself up. Get your blanket, put your blanket on your mat. So when we practice yoga, we're actually pulling and pushing on our bones. We're using the connective tissue, the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, the fascia, and we're pulling and pushing. And so on one hand, this is going to strengthen and stretch and do a lot of goodness for our body. And you need to be safe. So you need to be your own yoga therapist when you're practicing. Watch the movement, feel the movement. If you close your eyes when you're practicing yoga, you're more likely to stay safe in the practice. So I recommend closing your eyes if you can. I recommend watching the shape that I put into my body, but finding the correct version for your body. And I say this because I know that you can injure yourself in a yoga class if you're not fully present in the moment and if you don't do what's appropriate for your body. So being in tune is really, really important. We're going to begin by warming up. We're going to warm up with weight. So we're going to use our own body weight, which I think is the best weight bearing that we could do. And you want to be sure that the pulling that you're doing is appropriate for you. So bring yourself onto all fours, and I'd like you to crawl around your space. So it could be a forward and backwards movement. It could be on your blanket, or you could start to go a little farther in your space. Keep your head lifted. Even looking forward is going to start to strengthen the upper back and postural muscles. You might start to notice the tension. You're going to strengthen your wrists. You're going to strengthen your fingers, your hands, all important parts of healthy aging and of healthy bones. And then bring yourself back, bring yourself up, bring yourself all the way upright. Take your hands down, find mountain, the posture of alignment in your body. Find mountain here. And then hold on. I am going to elevate this computer. It does not feel high enough for me. I feel like I'm looking down. Pillows from the bed. There you go. That might be a better. There. All right, now I'm looking eye level. I feel a little bit better. Oh my God, I felt like I was looking down because it was on an ottoman. All right. So let's begin to warm up our body here. Take your hands down, find mountain in your body. Let's inhale to open. Feel the shoulder blades gliding along the back of your body, and then exhale to close. Come back to neutral, not rounded. Inhale to open, and then come back. Can you close your eyes and do this? Can you feel your way into stretching your shoulders, your chest? Can you feel your shoulder blades gliding along the upper back towards the spine, trying to touch each other? And then can you shift your arms so that one arm goes on top of the other when you hug yourself? And can you just move the arms? Try to keep the body quiet. Let this be upper body, postural. Can you let your arms go a little higher on the inhale? Throat opens. Maybe there's a back bend that comes into your spine. Your torso starts to move. Maybe your head looks up, even though your eyes are closed, and you feel more stretching now in the upper back and the neck. And then bring yourself through one more. Come open and stay open. Lift your arms up high as your shoulders will let you. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. So your eyes were closed, hopefully. This is where I ended up. Maybe you could work towards that. And there's a back bend that comes into the back. And then when the head is back in that position, your upper back and neck muscles have to support the weight of your head back. So there's a lot of strengthening there. It's a great way to take a break throughout the day. Bring your arms up behind your head. Reach your elbows long. Let your throat open. Look across the room. Take an inhale. As you exhale, draw the elbows towards each other and inhale, open. Exhale, close. Keep your gaze straight ahead. Inhale. Really strong work here. This is not just casual. I am sliding my shoulder blades towards each other as much as I can in the back of my body, feeling the stretch underneath my armpits, feeling the stretch down in my belly, more on one side than the other because of my own situation with my hip replacement. So can you feel psoas stretching, abs involved, under armpit muscles, shoulder muscles, chest muscles? Come to an open position, stay here. Reach long with your elbows. You could even use your hands in the back of the head to give a little slight traction. And then push your knees into the floor, tailbone down, protect your lower spine. Lift your heart. Create as much stretch as you can here in the upper trunk, stretching the postural muscles. Take one more breath. Stay here. Keep your arms up. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale and exhale. Lateral muscles, core muscles. Keep your gaze up. Look across the room and slightly higher than eye level to keep your head up as you laterally flex side to side. Bring yourself back to center after you do your last one. Come back to center. Let your arms rest. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Shake your head. Shake your arms, shake your body. Come to rest. And then bring yourself back up. Let's add a little rotation to the trunk. Take your legs pretty wide here. Let your hand be in front of you. Exhale. And then inhale. Let your gaze follow your arm up and back. And then come to the other side. Inhale to open. Let your hand be high and watch it the whole time. Stretching rotational muscles. Make sure this feels okay. Push your shins into the floor. Point your tailbone straight down to the ground if you can to maintain a neutral pelvis to protect your lower lumbar spine. Working your shoulder muscles, letting the shoulder blades glide onto the back for stretching, for strengthening posture. Look at your hand the whole time. Go a little higher with your hand. Get a little bit more stretch in your body. And then notice, for those of us that get motion sick, which I'm one of them, we're actually affecting the visual and the vestibular balance systems here. So notice how this feels. Strengthening balance, posture, spatial awareness. Can you feel your belly stretch? One more. Bring yourself back to center. Come all the way down. Rest, whatever that looks like for you. So I'm already feeling quite a bit of work in my upper body. I hope that you're giving it your all in each posture so that you are as well. Let's lengthen our spine, stretch the front body, stretch the back body. So we're going to move through puppy dog, straight spine, front spine is open, through a variation of what eventually could become an up dog, stretching the back of the body and stretching the front of the body, moving through the hip joint to do this. So any variation of this that you could do If you want to put a block on the floor so your head rests on a block, you could try that. It's your hip joint that's bending. So let's come to a position where your eyes are closed and you're actually feeling that all of this happens here. We're rolling around in our shoulders. I only want you to go as far forward and backward as is appropriate for your body. And I'd like you to be in your body. So we're using weight to stretch some big body parts here, to stretch the front of the body and the back. Let's move back into the puppy dog so the low belly comes towards the top thighs. If your forehead makes it all the way down to the floor, great. And if it doesn't, that's great too. When you inhale, lift with your head, press your hands into the floor, push your heel of your hand into your floor, let the pelvis come towards the floor, open up your throat, feel that deep stretch in the belly, exhale back. Go slow, close your eyes. It's your body, your bones, your practice. One more, come forward. Stay here. Push your heart forward. If you want to look over one shoulder and then the other, make sure it's appropriate for you. If it's too intense to begin with, maybe adding a little bit of rotation won't be okay for your spine. And if it is, try to look as far back as you can towards the middle of the body. Notice is one side easier than the other? And then bring yourself back to center. Bring yourself all the way up, all the way out, noticing what you notice. Take a rest in between. It could be sitting on the heels or crisscrossing your legs or staying up in a kneeling position. Close your eyes, check in with your body. That's how you're going to keep yourself safe. The more you know about your body, what it should and shouldn't be doing, then you can actually do some nice, strong bone building stimulation safely. Take one more breath. And open your eyes. So we're going to move on to a couple of postures that are pretty strong. We're going to do the plank first. You do whatever variation is appropriate for you. I think I'm going to come down into the dolphin or the forearm version, which is a pretty strong core. We could actually use the block for this. So you could stay up in the full version, or you could come down into the dolphin, which is this version. A little more core centric when you're doing the dolphin like this. You could do the modification or flip your toes under and lift your knees off. Pushing back with your heels, pushing your feet into the floor. Push away from the floor with your forearms. Push your hands into the floor. Deep breaths here. Use the breath to help you manage the demands of this posture. And then take one more breath. So come down onto your belly. Let your pelvis go onto the blanket. Take your feet pretty wide. Come down to rest your spine. Breathe down to your belly. That'll help to release Tension in the low back. If you breathe through your belly, it stretches the low back muscles. Notice the pace of your heart and slow down your heart rate with breath. Deepen the breath. Take one more breath. Walk your feet long and towards each other, maybe letting the big toes touch. And then bring your hands down alongside your body. Lengthen your spine, let the forehead touch the floor. Bring your hands right alongside your body, bring them down to your waist, and then turn your fingertips away from you towards your feet. Arms are right by the waist. Hands are pressing into the floor. Try to get the hands to press into the floor. You might need to move them away from your body to do so. Push your toes into the floor. Let your kneecaps come off. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Exhale. And then inhale. Lift your body up and away from the ground. And exhale to lower. Go slow. Close your eyes. Feel that work of the back. Activating and contracting to lift your body away from the ground. The erector muscle group. Push the pubis bone towards the ground to help protect the low spine. It's not about how high up you go. It's about contracting the muscles properly and safely for your spine. Try to push your heart forward. See if you could bend the upper spine when you do this. One more. And then bring yourself down. Let your forehead touch the ground. Arms are alongside your body. Legs are long. Exhale. Then inhale. Lift your arms away from the ground, your legs. Lift your body away from the ground into locust posture. Reaching long with the fingers, long with the feet. Let the breath help you manage this posture. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back down. Fold your arms. Take your legs wide. And push your pelvis back and forth side to side a lot. So you can let the bones settle in your body. And then rest, take a couple of breaths. Last breath. Take your arms long, come onto your side. Bring your hand onto the ground, push yourself away, bring yourself up to seated. So let's get our block in our strap. So because I'm near the wall, I'm going to use the wall for some of these next postures. And it would be great if you could do that too. And it's also great to learn these because the wall can be really supportive. And I think you're going to see that today, some of these twists that I'll put on postures. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is Dandasana, which is staff posture. So take the blanket and bring your blanket into a folded position. And then take the blanket. So I'll instruct against the wall, but if you're not against the wall, you'll do the posture without the wall part. So you're going to come to the front edge of your blanket and reach under to grab the hunk of flesh from your body. I'm going to use a block at the back of my spine to actually help to support my posture. So depending on how far away you are from the wall, I had to do it like this. So I'm doing it this distance. It could also be done like this. It could be flat if you were closer to the wall, or it could be this way if you were farther away from the wall. And this is going to help to correct right where the heart is, where the bend usually happens in forward fold, which is what puts that compressive force on our vertebra, which contributes to spinal wedge fractures. I'm going to use the strap as well for this posture, and I'm going to have to lasso. We're going to have to lasso here because we are already supported here by the block at the back. So So the Dandasana, known as staff posture, is a 90-degree angle. You're going to take your strap on your feet. Feet are hip distance, pushing into the pinky toe edges. Hold on to your strap. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Let's begin. Press your legs into the ground. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Open your heart. Draw the strap back. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Feel the stretch maybe behind the legs. Feel the action in the front of the thighs. Tall spine. Deep hip flexion. Take one more breath. And then slowly release. Take the block away, strap off to the side. The next posture we're going to do is a seated twist, and we're going to move in the direction of the wall. So we need to switch ourselves back and forth, side to side, rotating to the wall, and then using the wall to help create that rotational force in the spine. Now, when we do twist the spine, we're going to stimulate bone building in the spine. It's one of the best ways to do it. However, you have to be safe. You should not rotate your spine if this is happening at all. So when we come into the rotation, you want to make sure that your spine is lengthened, even a back bend at the thoracic spine, and then you add that rotation into your spine. Then you're safe. You do not want to be in a rounded position and then you try to rotate your spine because you're already pushing on the front of the spine and then you're putting pressure and rotational force. So that's a no-no. So let's use the wall to help us stay a little properly aligned here. Take your blanket off to the side, and actually being elevated is a little bit easier here to give you that access to keep yourself safe. So put your block on the floor, put your blanket on your block, and then come to sit on your block. So if you are going to use the floor, the wall, then you want to make sure that you're near the wall, because what we're going to do is we're going to rotate towards the wall and use the wall to help get this. Actually, we're going to use the wall to help get this so we can keep our spine long and then rotate towards the wall. So if you're not using the wall, you can come into the twist with one hand on the ground or one hand at the back to get nice and tall. So that's what we're going to do. So the leg that's near the wall is the direction we're going to rotate towards to add that rotational force. So bend your leg that is near the wall, your straight leg, make it very active. Pushing down with the foot and the leg is going to help to turn on the protection of the lower lumbar spine, the low back muscles, the glutes, the posterior chain. Then you're going to bring your hand to hold on, still staying nice and tall, making sure that there is no rounding at all in your spine. Nice tall spine. You're going to take your hand behind you on the wall, take an exhale, and then inhale. Lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate. Take your hand, your palm onto the wall, about chest height. And then use the wall to push into the wall to get a little bit more tension and traction. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, lift the heart. Deep breaths here. Feel like you're serving your heart up. Really press your heart up. Open your throat. The rotation is in the upper trunk. You could let your head go as far as possible, and then you could notice that if you let your head come back to forward, you still have that deep rotational force in your trunk. So this is thoracic spine rotation, upper trunk rotation. Take one more breath. To come out, you go slow, letting that tension leave your body appropriately. And then we're going to come to the other side. Block, blanket, and then you sit on top of that. You bend your leg that is near the wall. You hold on to that leg, nice, strong arm holding on. Take your hand on the wall behind you. Push down into the ground with your feet and your leg, your heel and your foot. Take an exhale, open your throat and your heart, and then inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate. Let your hand slide up so the palm goes on the wall to help create that force. That shoulder blade slides towards the center of the spine and presses forward to lift and to open up that upper chest. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Twist, twist, twist. Really use the shoulder blade to press forward, to lift your heart. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly unwind. Bring yourself all the way out and come into a neutral position. If you could sit on your heels, do that. And if you could come to a crisscross if you need to. Close your eyes. Feel the body. Feel what you just did. Feel your spine. Feel your back. Twisting strengthens our core, strengthens our spine, strengthens our muscles of posture and alignment. And then open your eyes. Moving on to our next posture. We're going to do the side plank Vasisthasana. To me, the hardest posture for me in the practice. One of the hardest postures for sure. And that's because it's a lot of upper body. Now the side plank, you've got to be careful with this. It's going to strengthen the side of your body. And the ways to do this posture, the full expression of the posture is to be up with everything away from the ground, but this is not for everyone because it's a very strong posture. For some of you, that may be too much tension and you may not be able to stabilize your spine in the way that you should, and it can contribute to some not good things. So for those of you that know that maybe you don't quite have a lot of upper body strength, you could come into the modification of this. You could even use your block here to help you with this. So if you were not able to come up fully, you could come up like this, either trying to lift your body away a little bit, maybe being able to come all the way up. It's a lot of tension in the shoulder joint and a lot of tension to push away from the ground. You could also do this in a forearm version where you bring yourself up, and you could either bring your arms up here or you could be in a modification. So whatever is appropriate for you, please do what's appropriate for you. We're here to heal, not to hurt. So don't let your ego get the better of you. Don't try to muscle through something that's not appropriate. Come on to all fours, choosing whatever variation you're going to choose. Let's enter the posture. If you coming into the full posture, you come in from plank, you lift your pelvis up, you roll onto the outside edge of your feet, and you bring your arm or your body against the wall. Long spine. Push the pinky toe edge into the floor like crazy. Let there be a lot of work in the hip joint, side hip joint. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. 30 seconds is about all I like to stay in that one because I find it to be pretty intense. Let's come to the other side. Having your body pretty close to the wall so that you end up against the wall makes it a little easier. Feet are back, rolling on to the pinky toe edge, coming into side plank on this side. Push your foot like crazy, so you use the hip, not just all upper body or upper spine. Last breath, and then bring yourself out. Let's rest. Deep breaths to slow the heart rate. Finishing this breath. Open your eyes. Another important thing to note is that we're utilizing energy, cellular energy. So making sure that you go to the appropriate place of what your reserves are, your energetic reserves, so that you don't become really fatigued after the practice. You do the appropriate amount of energy that your body has. And then going back and forth between the effort and the ease, taking your time in between postures to slow down the breath, to relax. So let's come to standing, coming into a kneeling position in the beginning, and then having the wall there is really nice for support. Bring a foot forward, back foot is back. Go kind of slow here and don't use momentum. So you're unloading from this deep flexion in the knee and the hip. Push that front foot into the floor like crazy. Feel that activate your glute. Opportunity to strengthen that front leg. And then push the back foot in. You're going to strengthen the front of the hip joint in the back. So an opportunity to strengthen hips as you move up and down off the ground. All right, definitely need to be back for this, right? Okay. All right. So let me see. Sorry. I kind of got myself set up as best I could. Okay. So let's clear our space, moving blanket off. Gonna need the block for this next one. Ooh. In case you wanted to see my head. All right. Okay. All right, perfect. So for this next posture, we're going to do the warrior two. We're going to use the block against the wall, and this is going to activate the lateral chain, the side body, that side hip joint. This is where the glute medius is. So we really need that glute medius to be very protective of our hip joint, helps with a lot of the body movements we do. So we're going to do the warrior two near the wall. So grab your block, grab your wall, get your mat. Let's come into a wide stance, and being near the wall, you may go a little wider here, which is nice. Then we're going to take the front foot, push the front heel into the ground, lift the toe up, move the foot away from you, the toes away from you, pick up the back heel. So you want to be close enough to the wall so that when you come down into your warrior two, you're able to put the block there and hold the block there, hopefully not having the pelvis touch. So find the location you need to be in before you come down. But remember, your block has 3 different levels. So if you begin a little bit farther away, you'll be able to put the block into the right distance that you need to create that force to hold the block there. So coming into your warrior two, hold on to your block. Bring your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Bring your awareness to that back foot, activate that foot. Push that pinky toe edge into the floor so you actually feel the ankle joint. You feel that tension that gets created into the ankle. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Exhale. As you inhale, push away from the back foot. Bend the front knee. Let your body go straight down. Bend the front knee as deeply as you can. And then take the block and put the block right at the side of your leg, by your knee, by your thigh, wherever it needs to be, so that you actually have to push it into the wall to hold it there. Arms are up, shoulders are down, neck is long. Push that back foot into the floor. Lift your heart, lift your chest. Push the block into the wall. Try to move the knees in opposite directions. You're pushing that knee towards the wall, and the other back knee is moving back towards the wall in the other direction. Take one more breath. Go ahead, reach down, get your block, unbend your legs, bring yourself forward. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Take your block in your hand. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and they're down. Front toes move away from you, back heel moves away from you. Exhale, press into that back pinky toe edge. As you inhale to raise your arms, bend the front knee, lowering straight down into your hip and your knee. Bring the block in between the wall and you. Press your feet down, get tall. Lift your heart. Knees are moving opposite of each other. Knee near the wall is pushing towards the wall. Back knee is moving back towards the back wall. Take one more breath. Reach down to get the block. Unbend your knees, bring yourself out, forward, shake your legs. So let's do a straight leg movement here. We'll do the triangle posture. So take your legs straight, take your block in your hand that you're going to move to. Foot position, toes move away from you, back feet move away from you. Keeping the legs straight now, really pressing that front leg deep into that hip joint, creating a lot of forces on the femur neck, on the total hip, on the femur bone, the pelvis. Take your hand in the block in the hand in front of you. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Push away from the back edge of the back foot. Exhale, and then inhale. Lengthen first so you feel the stretch coming into the front leg. And then when you can't go any farther, bend deeper at that hip. Bring the block down onto the ground. Body could be touching the wall here. That will be very helpful. Arm is up. It could reach up and over or stay straight up. Trying to get your heart to rotate forward. Push away from the block. Don't grab onto it. Don't lean on it. You push away from the block. Try to get longer in your spine and try to get your heart to rotate forward and the shoulder of the down arm opening and pressing forward. Take one more breath. Keep your legs straight. Hold on to your block. Push into the ground. Bring yourself long and up. Bring your feet forward. Let's go to the other side. Toes are up and away. Heel moves back. Block is in that front arm, front hand. Forward, up, back, and down. Push into the back foot a lot. Active back foot, active arch. Exhale. And then inhale to lift and lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then bending at the hip joint, lower down, put the block on the ground, and to bring yourself into triangle. Push away from the block. Try to get that down chest and shoulder, not to collapse, but to open and lengthen, and try to rotate forward. See if you can feel the stretching in the waist, where the pelvis is, in the thighs, the legs, the calves, all over the place. Take one more breath. Holding onto your block, push your feet into the floor and bring yourself up, bring yourself out, bring your feet back together. Bring your block in the floor, bending at your hips. Put the block down. Bring yourself into mountain posture, Tadasana. Toes are touching or close to each other. If you're near the wall, try to challenge yourself a little more and let your toes touch. Hands are down alongside your body. Push your heels into the floor. Push the pinky toe edges into the floor, the toes into the floor, and then gently grab the floor with the feet. So push away with your feet. Tailbones pointing straight down in between the heels. If you are at the wall, bring your hands back so they touch the wall. Press your hands into the wall. That activates posture muscles, gives you a little bit more tension in the upper body. Push down into the ground, get tall. Take one more breath. and then release. Keep your feet where they are. Do a little dance. Take out the tension out of your body. And then stand up. We're going to come into tree. You're near the wall's behind you. Let your body know that, touch it, whether it's a chair, a sofa, or a wall. Bring your hands down alongside your body. Push your body weight onto one foot. Bend the knee to the side. Bring the foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Push down with your standing leg. Activate your core. Push the leg into the lower leg bone. If you're near a wall, you can let your fingertips touch it. You could try to go out to the side. You could try to come a little higher. And then pull your hands away from the wall if you can. Still using the wall if you need to. If you're feeling a little confident, close one eye and try to close the other. Notice how there's a lot more dancing that takes place in the body when the eyes, you take away the visual sensory aspects of balance. You're near the wall, which is why I'm suggesting this. I wouldn't do that otherwise unless you're a strong practitioner, you know your body, and you could do tree pretty well. Bring yourself back to neutral, and then bring yourself out and down. Stayed up there for quite a while, so notice that foot if you feel the tension and the work in the foot. Balancing. Look at your foot. That little foot is managing all of this. That little space is managing everything, every bone, every muscle, everything. That's a lot. And that is going to strengthen your foot, your ankle, your leg bone. That's going to translate right up to that hip joint, to that femur neck, to the top of that bone, to the pelvis that it's pressing into. That's what you're doing. And strengthening your balance and all those other things. Toes are forward, hands are down alongside your body. Tall body, push down into the ground. Move to one side. Grab the floor with the heel, with the pinky toe edge, with the toes. Bend the knee out to the side. Bring the foot up in between the lower leg. Let your hands go to the wall behind you so you know it's there. It starts to establish safety in your balance receptors. If you're able to start challenging yourself, bringing your hands up, you could touch the wall at first, bring the hands away, push down with that leg, activate your core, lengthen your spine, hands are back, chest is lifted. If you want to start challenging yourself, it's one eye at a time. You'll notice there's more proprioception that has to turn on when you take away visual, or when you challenge yourself with less visual, more proprioception. Push into the ground, grab the ground. Challenge, challenge, challenge. If you could close both eyes, you could try that. And then let's bring yourself down and out. Dance, dance, dance. Let your body just take all that. Let the joints go back to a neutral so they don't have to try to be in alignment in one leg. Shake, shake, shake. Okay. Let's move on to twisted triangle. Now I'm going to do this at the wall with a block because I can. For some of you, that may be a little bit too much because maybe you don't have the flexibility. For some of you, being in a chair may be better. Or if you don't have a chair and you want to try the wall, you could do this, bending at your hip joint to keep your spine nice and long to wherever you are able to do this. Okay, so twisted triangle, quite a humdinger of a posture. Take the block to whatever side you're going to go to. It's the front leg that we rotate over. So you bring the front leg forward. You bring the back leg back about 2.5 feet and arrange yourself so that your toes are pointing forward. Begin with one hand on your waist, one hand on the wall behind you. And then you're going to go, let me see. Okay, take one hand on the wall behind you. You're going to Bend forward at the hip. Bring the other hand forward onto the wall. Start to rotate towards the wall. If you're able to keep going down a little lower to bring your hand onto the block, you could do that. Pushing both feet into the floor, and then that back big toe mound, push into the floor like crazy with your back big toe mound. And maybe you feel your calf stretching, a lot of rotational force from the back of the heel. Long spine, rotated spine, lots of pressure in your hips, lots of pressure in your spine, just where we want it. Really push that back foot into the floor like crazy. Don't let that heel lift off the floor. Take one more breath. To come out, keep your head lifted, bend the front knee, bring your block with you, bring yourself up, unwind yourself, bring the block to the other side. So this is a pretty intense posture, so you want to go slow, you want to create the appropriate forces for yourself. Block is on the other side. The foot that comes forward is the one you rotate over. The foot that goes back, make sure the toes are pointing forward, about 2.5 feet in your stance. Take one hand on your waist, one hand behind you. Or you could bring your arm up or to the side. You start to bend at your hip, keeping your spine nice and long, and the hand on the wall will ensure that you do that. Bring your other hand forward, bending a little deeper to come down to the block. Use the block to push away from and the wall to push away from. The floor to push away from with the back foot, big toe mound. Long spine, push your heart towards the wall. Keep your throat open. You could close your eyes if that feels appropriate. Lots of posterior hip capsule stimulation. That front leg, feel it? Push that back big toe into the floor to get all that rotational force to enter your body and the feet. Take one more breath. You bend the front knee to take the tension out. You bring yourself up. You bring yourself out. You come back to the mountain to rest. Closing your eyes if closing the eyes is appropriate for you. Take one more breath. Shake that tension out of your body, out of your joints. All right, we're going to do one more strength posture, which is the chair. So bring your tushy to the wall, walk your feet away from the wall, keep them on the mat. If they're not on the mat, you don't want socks, you don't want to slip away. So make yourself safe here. So you want to make sure you have a sticky mat, not those thick pads that are used for Pilates that are more about comfort and not about sticky and safe. So you want to make sure that you have something here. You're going to lower down towards a 90-degree angle. You're going to push your low back towards the wall. You could come here and stay here in your chair. You could bring your arms forward and up, or you could bring them to the side. Lower you go, the more intense it is. Push your low back into the wall. That'll help protect the lumbar spine. Push your heels into the floor. Chair. It's called air chair. Middle of the head, shoulder blades. Take one more breath. To come out, take your hands on the wall, bring your torso forward, bending at the hip, bring yourself forward, bring yourself all the way up. And if you are at the wall, turn to the wall, let your forehead touch the wall, let your hands dangle alongside your body, take your feet a little wide, be away from the wall, and let the wall take the weight of your head. It can be nice and relieving some of the tension in the lower lumbar area. Breathe down to your feet. Take one more breath. And bring yourself up. If you've never done that one before, it's fantastic for relieving the tension of having to hold our head up all the time. Letting your head go forward on the wall. It's a really nice relief. All right, we're going to do the last posture of the day, which is Shavasana, integration. Let's let all this sink into the cells, into your soul. So grab what you need. Because I have a wall, I'm going to do legs up the wall. So I'm going to prepare for that. Putting my blanket away from the wall. Go ahead and get whatever you need. Bringing yourself down onto the wall, you can use, bringing yourself down onto the floor, you can use the wall for this, coming into that wide stance, bringing yourself down. If you are going to go with your legs up the wall, I like to start off pretty close to the wall, touching it maybe, and then bring yourself down and bring your legs up. It's not about your tushy touching the wall. It's about being in the place of comfort so there's not too much tension in the hamstring muscles behind your thighs. Bring your arms to the side, let go, let everything settle. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Move in any way your body feels that it needs to move. Come on to your side. And then pushing away from the ground, bring yourself up to a seated position. Closing your eyes. Using sound to settle. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Heart presses towards the hands, hands to the heart. Keeping the mouth closed, we'll do a humming sound. Take a big exhale. Inhale. Bowing, ending the practice in gratitude. It's important at the end of your practice to check in with how you're feeling and then to pay attention throughout the day. This is a pretty challenging practice, or it definitely could be challenging depending on how much effort you bring into each posture. And when we do the more challenging postures, we're pulling more, pushing more. And you have to make sure that it's appropriate, that you have the cellular energy for that, that you have the flexibility to go deeper, to push more, to ask for more, so that you know what is your safe place, because your bones will get stronger if you create the appropriate mechanical stimulation, the appropriate stressors on your bones. They will get stronger. And we want to make sure we do that strong, safely. So above all else, safety, safety, safety. Go at the pace that's appropriate for you. All right, so that was fun. Some of those I don't know that I've done before or haven't done forever and ever. So how was that for you all? I'd love to hear how this is, because I have been traveling a lot more this year, and I'm going to be traveling. I don't know how long you've known me for, but if you've known me for a long time, you know I travel a lot. And then I kind of didn't during, this last few years. So I am going to be traveling a lot, which means I'm going to be in different locations. And if I have a wall, it's going to be a challenge because I love the wall. Okay, let me see. Kathy, I love that you're here. Yes, very challenging. Hopefully appropriately, though. Hey, we've got to be challenging to build those. Great. Thanks, Stevie. Good. I know you love that, Donna and Stevie and Kathy. Like, I know you girls love challenge, as long as you keep it in the appropriate place. Oh, I'm in Phoenix. I'm at a conference. I'm actually at a conference called Mindshare. And it's a pretty big time conference with people that you probably have heard of. Lots of doctors, people that have programs raising awareness to functional medicine and the need to stay healthy. I believe Dr. Bresden will be here. Will he be here? I can't remember. There's some pretty big players. He's the guy that is like the person for Alzheimer prevention. So I'm here with a lot of people helping to spread the word about bone health and the need for raising awareness to reversing bone loss and reversing osteoporosis, because it is possible. So very exciting. I'll be here on Saturday. Don't worry, Lynn. I plan my life around my live classes, or whenever I can, let's say. I plan my life around my live classes when I can. And then when I can't, I will make sure that you have something to practice with that is super beneficial and will keep you on course. Yes, thanks, Carolyn. Hopefully that was good for you. In person. That's great. Yeah, it'll be great. Phoenix is good. So my son lives here. So I came last night at 7 o'clock and it was 90 degrees. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. And he's like, Mom, it's getting so cool. I'm like, really? This is cool? Thank goodness for AC. All right. So yeah. Well, thanks for being here, ladies. I'll be here on Saturday to teach as well. And then next week I'll be home and then I'm leaving again. So, all right. Let me know how it's going. Join the 30-day challenge. Come be interactive. Do a challenge. Challenge yourself with things. That's how you're going to notice that you're gaining strength, balance, and all that stuff. All right. I'm off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. All right. Bye.